We made this.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Chucky Vision, the podcast that deals with all things Chucky, that includes all 7 movies, the remake, season 1 of the sci-fi series Chucky, and now episode by episode, season 2 of Chucky. We are on episode 7, Going to the Chapel, written by Nick Ziegler and Amanda Blanchard and directed by John Hyams. For a moment, I thought we were watching Fleabag because Father Bryce becomes Daddy Bryce. We got a hot priest alert.
I've never seen Fleabag, so I don't know what you're talking about, but there was definitely a hot priest.
The actor that plays Moriarty in the Sherlock show, I forget his name, the British guy.
Yeah.
His character is just named Hot Priest in Fleabag.
But you haven't said who we are, Devon.
Well, you just, helping me out there. I'm Dev Elson, and with me, as always, is my good friend and co-host, Mark Adams.
That's me, hello. Also, at the start, you were like, we cover all things Chucky, but you didn't mention any of the tat, because they only get about half the listens of the ones on the films and the telly show. Listen to our tats. We enjoy doing them.
We'll be having tat coming out very soon, once this season 2 is over.
So much planned tat. Oh,
I should probably save this for the end, for the next week on Chucky. But next week on Chucky is a Christmas special, which kind of beat us to the punch because we were going to do a Christmas special of Chucky Vision.
we're still doing a Christmas special of Chucky Vision.
We will be watching a mid-2000s Christmas movie, sometimes called Rosemont, sometimes called Christmas at Rosemont. It stars Brad Dourif and Grace Zabriskie. A Child's Play 2 reunion. What more can you ask for?
That's not tat as far as I'm concerned. That is a legitimate link to the Child's Play franchise. Also, it's Christmas, fuck you. Chucky news!
Yeah, sort of a Chucky news. I'll be mentioning tidbits and stuff. I don't want to poach all of it, but I even posted on Twitter this week the Dead Meat interviews that he does afterwards. Really go listen to those because they're great stuff. Devon Sauer was on this week, and he steals the show in this episode, and he steals the show in that interview. He's a very cool guy, and he talks a lot about this episode. He gives some really good, interesting tidbits which will litter in our discussions. And yeah, he teases big things for the next episode. He says it's something Don's never done before, but he really wants to. Now he's finally getting to do it.
I mean, Don Mancini getting to do what he's wanted to do for a long time has proved to be fucking brilliant so far, so sign me up. And you also retweeted Jennifer Tilly being very thirsty about how attractive Devon Sauer is as well. You shouldn't be allowed on our fucking Twitter at Chucky Vision.
God damn, they really turned this character around.
Yeah, they do. Should we talk about our polls that we did on Twitter before we go into the episode? Very briefly, because we are going to look at the polls again when we do our roundup.
Were we even right? Because, yeah, we were, weren't we, this week with Father Bryce? The poll, we asked which character in a list of 4 characters was going to die. And I think the majority was Father Bryce, which was better because we did the very same thing last year. We gave the polls out around episode 6, saying who will live, who will die. Everybody voted that Devon's mom was going to live.
I don't think I voted for Devon's mom.
And then a couple of days later, that episode dropped and she died.
Yeah. So, very quickly, teen deaths. 54% think Lexi will die, 36% think Devon will die, and only 9% think Jake will die. Teens living. 83% think Jake's going to live, 16% think Lexi's going to live, and 0% think Devon's going to live. But that's like who they think is most likely rather than saying the other two won't. And you're right, the adult death, Bryce got 55%, Mixter got 30%, Ruth got 10%, and Catherine got 5%. The most likely to stay alive, Mixter got 30%, Catherine, Ruth, and Bryce all got 23 each.
Did we put Jennifer Tilly in any of these polls?
We did, because I did legacy protagonists and legacy antagonists, because suddenly there are 8 characters in season 2 of fucking Chucky, which, I mean, obviously Glenn and Glenda arrived, but nobody saw Jennifer Tilly coming back, so there are suddenly 8. And my choice of what's antagonist and what's protagonist was a bit precarious as well. I had to split them 4-4, so the legacy protagonists I chose were Kyle, Nika, Glenn, and Andy. The legacy antagonists were Jennifer Tilly, Tiffany, Nika Chucky, and Glenda. So, because there's a difference between Nika and Nika Chucky. Or Chucky Prime, as they're now calling it.
Yeah.
Right, so, I was calling him Nika Chucky at the time, so that's what we'll go with.
Yeah.
Legacy protagonists to die. Kyle and Nika won equally on 38%. Then Glenn on 14 and only Andy on 9. So people seem to think Andy is going to survive. And that reflects the opposite way. Legacy protagonists alive. Andy 43%, Glenn 23%, Nika 19%, and Kyle 14%. So they all at least got a vote, which Devon didn't get a vote at all to be most likely to live. Legacy antagonist deaths. Bang on the money, 60% for Jennifer Tilly, then 20 for Tiffany, 16 for Nika Chucky, and 4 for Glenda. Legacy antagonists to survive. Tiffany on 46, Nika Chucky on 21, Glenda on 18, and Jennifer Tilly on 14. So interesting results, but absolutely bang on the money. Chucky Vision listeners, Bryce did, Jennifer Tilly did. So good, they've done well, you know. And obviously there were no teen deaths in this episode, but bang on the money with the 2 predictions there.
Well, I believe the polls did say by episode 8 who will die.
Yes, by the end of episode 8. So, you know, we could still lose lots of these characters. But at the moment, with 1 episode to go, our listeners are bang on the money. Do you remember what you voted for?
I don't think I did vote for Father Bryce, and that was just me hoping that Devon Sawa would see a finale one day.
I know I voted for Ruth to die and for Mixter to stay alive. So I was with the majority on Mixter.
The numbers weren't big on Sister Ruth.
No.
You called that one.
On the teens, I voted for Lexi and Jake, the same as our listeners. How about you?
I don't remember. We'll have to bring this up on the big roundup.
Legacy protagonists to die, I went for Kyle, and to stay alive, I went for Glenn.
I believe I went with, I think it was Andy or Kyle, and I think, I went with Glenn. I want them to survive.
The antagonists, I went for Tiffany to die and Nika Chucky to survive. So that's interesting. I didn't vote the same way as the majority.
I do object to you saying Jennifer Tilly is an antagonist. She's been a prisoner in her own home since 2005.
So she was with Tiffany, Nika Chucky, and Glenda. That's what I told you. It was hard. You couldn't put 5 goodies and 3 baddies because you can only have 4 on Twitter. So yeah, I realise she's not an antagonist, but she was with the antagonists at the time of the vote being said.
The indignity of this episode with Jennifer Tilly.
Oh, don't. Right, anyway, no, it hasn't been renewed. I'm fucking livid. Renew Chucky now. I'm very cross.
They talk about that on the Dead Meat interview. Obviously, they cannot. Honestly, they cannot say anything. Devon Sawa says he genuinely doesn't know, but he wouldn't be surprised if they got renewed because it's been doing very well.
Yeah, everything's pointing to it being renewed if Don Mancini wants to do it, but it's whether or not he does, and I hope he does because this has been a fucking roller coaster, a fucking whirlwind. It's been brilliant.
Yes, let's get into it then because
yeah,
the whole Catholic school thing, the whole setting, the whole themes and ideas, it all figuratively and literally explodes. So Don can go anywhere he wants next season.
Yeah, I think from the very start, I really liked the direction, and I'm terrible at spotting direction on stuff. But the whole of this season has been really, really positive experience for me when it comes to directing. I've been genuinely spotting stuff. So the black and white thing, whilst, it's a bit Schindler's List and everybody knows that that's where it was the most prominently done. But the black and white thing with the confessions was brilliant.
I noted Sin City. That was my reference point.
Yeah, Sin City did it. And it was probably the first kind of popular culture thing that did it rather than the first kind of classy art-only thing that did it. But yeah, it was... have you not seen Schindler's List with the little girl?
Oh, no, I've seen it. I just... Sin City is my go-to for cool black and white stuff with colour.
Well, Sin City is one of my favourite films, but I'm not going to argue that Sin City is a better film than Schindler's List. And or something that should be referred to more frequently in discussion about popular culture. Fucking Schindler's List, though. Fuck. I'm never, ever watching that again. It was one of the greatest films I've ever seen. But I don't want to watch it again. I like being happy.
Well, you're in luck because this is a happy episode. Well...
What? What are you on? Go home, Dev. You're drunk. A happy episode, my arse.
Hey, there's kind of a happy ending, as far as they understand.
There's many deaths.
Yeah, it's the what's the phrase? The road to heaven is paved with shit.
That's an exact quote, is it?
You gotta break a few eggs.
Where are you getting these fucking metaphors from? The mind of Devon Elson.
I'm spiraling here. We've gotten about 30 seconds into the episode.
You're presenting. Get on with it.
So, yes, as I said, this episode goes bam, 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 straight into it. Kyle immediately shows up within like the first minute. That's great. We get a little Andy-Kyle reunion. We get a number of little reunions throughout this episode. We'll touch upon all of them because they are great. We talked about this last week, the whole what exactly are they going to do with Catholicism? And we have this banger of a line. That kind of magic is not in Dambala's purview. Consigning a soul to hell is a Catholic thing. So I kind of love that they're just... We said, which way is this show going to go? And they went kind of pretty much all the way. Yeah, there's magic in Catholicism, yeah.
Yeah, and if you're going to reference magic in Catholicism, then, The Exorcist is the quintessential example of that, isn't it? And to then not reference it in something that's supposed to be meta, yeah, we knew there was going to be some Exorcist references, and boy, were there some Exorcist references. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the start of this, before we even get the credits, Mixter says that good Chucky, in inverted commas, is the last doll.
Yeah, they really chopped them away, didn't they? Chopped down that number. I believe we sort of knew that, did we not? From...
No. Well, no, I got the impression that the last doll meant the last doll known in existence, or do you think it was just he was the last one out of the many?
I took it as he's the last alive Chucky doll.
Oh, okay. So I thought she meant that because it was so rare.
I did think that. I did consider that. Maybe she meant the last good guy doll that was ever manufactured. But I think she means because last episode was such a big deal about the Colonel and Buff Chucky and this Chucky. They made such a big deal about how the numbers were dwindling down. I'm pretty sure she meant that he is the last, aside from Nika Chucky, he's the last Chucky, classic Chucky they have.
Right, okay, fair enough. Because I was like, what happened? We've all seen Child's Play 2. We've seen how many fucking dolls there were. We saw some of Child's Play 2 in this.
Yeah. Oh, God, I can't wait to get to that. So we got the intro. Great intro. They bring back the whole choir with the church organs as well. I mean, the candles are neat, but I think the music really does it for me.
I think the combo is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've loved every titles this season. I think I loved them all in the last season though. It's just so cool that they do that. It's something I genuinely love about one of the little touches. They're always great.
Yeah, it's the cherry on top, and just another great evidence of them putting so much passion and fun into every episode. And we are still roller coastering along with these plot lines. We are going back to Tiffany's story, the Tiffany gang in their car. As if we didn't have enough people at the church, we've also got this storyline going on.
Yeah.
With Tiffany, and God bless Tiffany for her zero effort at trying to blend in public.
I know. What I really like about it is the really fucking grim, morbid thing about people going, let's not get this woman arrested, let's get a selfie. That is such a deep cut on modern life. And you can accuse this show of being really meta and really silly and not having real consequences for murder and that sort of thing. But this, I thought, was so clever and really fucking accurate. Man, the morbid fucking social media oh, yuck. Considering how many nasty deaths there were and swipes at religion and stuff, that really kind of gave me a kind of a shoulder hunch moment because it felt believable that that's what people would do. They didn't care that she was a murderer as long as they could get a selfie with Jennifer fucking Tilly.
It was a very tense scene and a very funny but darkly funny outcome. And it also, it feels maybe like a random scene in comparison to the rest of the episode, but I feel like it still fits because a lot of characters by the end of this episode do consider what life after Chucky is like. And a lot of those characters are wanted by the police.
And I think it was kept in simply because of the social commentary that the writer wanted to make. And it's important social commentary. And it's accurate, fucking frightening social commentary. I'm glad it stayed in, even though you're right, it wasn't really necessary.
Yeah, well, I mean, they show up at the end of the episode and things happen. But yeah, there's definitely some good stuff in these little moments and some funny stuff. Just Tiffany freaking out about not wanting to go to prison and just that real savage line of "You've been behind bars for many years now. Prison will be a walk in the park." To poor Jennifer Tilly.
I know I do this every fucking episode, but Lachlan Watson's acting as Glenn in this, just so subtle but brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yes, it's low-key, but it's very good. Speaking of good acting, we've got some good, it's not all hijinks in this episode. It's not all happiness, as I said earlier.
Happiness.
There are emotions and emotional acting with these characters. We get that sad line from Lexi where she asks do you guys even like each other anymore? And they look at each other.
Yeah, I wrote that in my notes too. And she's still a bitch. She's still Lexi. She's nasty when she needs to be or wants to be.
It's more understandable this time, I mean, it's kind of true. They have been at each other's throats and arguing this whole time, and tensions are high with everyone. And not just tension, but, trauma. One thing after another. They're not getting any time to unwind. I mean, case in point, this is hitting Lexi, the poor, death of Nadine is hitting Lexi so hard that she's gone back to the drugs.
I put in my notes at the time, I put she's taken drugs, she's more likely to die now. But I'm not sure I thought that by the end of the episode. But I certainly did think at the time, if she's taking drugs, then she's more likely to die. Because it makes her vulnerable.
Yeah, it does. But I also think that's a mature thing to put in a TV show like this. The idea of rebound. It's not a perfect idea that when you realize that drugs are bad for you and you just stop taking drugs and then it sucks for a bit, but then you're done. You know, it's like any kind of vice. There's always the temptation to go back.
Relapse is real.
Yeah.
And it's one of the hardest things for people to deal with, be them the addict themselves or the people involved in their life, because obviously everyone's so proud when someone goes sober, and then to see the person take a backward step is painful. And it's interesting, they haven't really explored how drug addiction affects the people around the addict yet. And I think that's something that I would like to see them do.
Yeah, in a way, they've been doing a different story with that. The fact that we'll see. She says that she doesn't, you can't tell anyone what she's going through. And yeah, we've said how mature and how good this storyline is, how good it is to see teenagers dealing with issues like this. Because, it's not that she's going back to the drugs because she's got a fix for them, like she enjoys them. She just suffered a major loss close to her, and that's the reason why she goes back to it. It's understandable, if unfortunate.
Oh yeah, of course. It's interesting, like I say, that they haven't explored how it affects other people in her life yet.
I would definitely be open to that, but I think so far we haven't actually seen any like physical, literal instances of that affecting her life with other people. I think Devon and Jake would be completely supportive of her, really. Maybe that's a scene that's coming up, because now we have this final episode, which is more of a denouement after this finale. Maybe,
True.
that's why we have this scene. Lexi pointing out, the only reason we hang out together is because of Chucky. And maybe we'll have Devon and Jake say, you know what? Chucky's gone, but we're not going to leave. We'll stick with you.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting to see for sure.
Back to the fun. We get a great shot of Sister Catherine rocking the Glock as she walks into the room. But then, unfortunately, they lock away the guns, which I wrote, that's a bad idea, throwing away the key. But then, everybody else seems to have a gun by the end of this episode.
Also true.
I don't know if more guns would have helped.
I mean, this is America. Apparently, guns help all the time, and people should have them. I still find it utterly bizarre that people see guns like I see cats.
Well, we'll see guns are not the solution later in this episode.
No.
More great reunions. Andy and Kyle get a proper reunion this time, and you can really tell the two actors have known each other for years because it's such a natural chemistry.
Oh, it was great. It was really, really great. I really even though it was super brief, I really loved it. It wasn't over-egged, but it was just so sensitively done. It was really lovely.
It is. That's what I mean. Yeah, it's low-key in the best way. It wasn't overly sentimental. It was just two friends getting together again. And also bringing up a good point that they haven't been together since season 1. So it has been a little bit. It's been a year in the in the universe. So it has been a bit of a break. And I think at one point or another, they both thought the other person was dead. So it's definitely a sweet reunion for them too. Bigger reunions, in a sense. Andy and Nika finally meet after all these years.
Yes, that was really cool as well. And it is a significant thing that they actually met, which hasn't happened. And
yeah, it's kind of like the Star Wars sequels. You know what I mean? It's like Rey meeting Luke. It's like 2 generations of actors in this series meeting.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it, yeah.
I suppose Nico would maybe be from the prequel series, and then like the new kids are from the sequels. But then
Mm,
the prequel series was before, so it wouldn't tie together. Do you know what I mean?
I do, and the metaphor was strong until you shat on it.
But it was significant, and I liked that they acknowledged that they did meet before, but under worse
Yeah.
conditions. I did think, and I kind of think maybe it was a missed opportunity, but then there's me trying to improve on an already great episode. I did wonder if Andy was going to confess that he tried to shoot Nika. He kept that to himself, didn't he?
He did, yeah, he did.
But I think Nika would forgive him because she
Yeah,
knows how
yeah.
bad it is.
She's as brutal as he is. And as much as we love these characters, they're all fucking killers. And I like that. But these 2 scenes, Andy and Kyle and then Andy and Nika, they were so short. But they were so significant and so well done. And did you notice the confirmation of what year it is as well?
I didn't pick up on it. What year is it?
So, Andy said it was 34 years ago when he first encountered Chucky. And 2022 minus 34 is 1988, which is, it is the 35th anniversary of Chucky next year in 2023. So they are in our current year. So I don't know if you want to talk about this or just go, different fucking world. But it does mean that COVID didn't happen in the Chucky universe.
Yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't have it confirmed what year it was, did we? Because I think
I
you
think we had it
talked about
strongly
how
confirmed, strongly
yeah.
hinted, but yeah, they never
Yeah,
they never just have a calendar up, do they?
so no COVID.
That's at least one struggle off their mind.
Well, that's it, isn't it? It's like they didn't have to go through lockdown, but they were consistently, frequently, and horribly traumatized by a murderous doll. As much as lockdowns were shit, I think I'd probably go for lockdowns over Chucky being actually real.
And Chucky in Nika's body would not be wearing a mask. He'd just be breathing over
True.
everyone, breathing in everyone. He would not be looking after Nika. And she's had enough.
Yeah. I think it's something that every single television show that's set in the modern world now will have to decide. Does our universe have COVID? Which, it's weird, isn't it? How, like, huge world events are referenced regularly in various things. But COVID does feel different in a weird way. Am I making any sense at all when I say this?
It does. It's a sucky period, but people just had to get on, didn't they? It is different than events like 9/11 because those are tragedies that we could mourn, but then get on with stuff in a productive, healthy way to, mourn. Whereas COVID was different because we had to get on with our lives, but it wasn't like one event happened and then we were just getting over it. I mean, it's like you see in some TV shows like medical dramas and the soaps and stuff. You don't want a show like this where every character is wearing a mask because it distracts from the story.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Also in this scene, what I really like is the subtle change in the dynamic of Devon and Jake's relationship.
Oh yeah,
We talked about how Devon was more into Jake at the start of the season, but now it seems like Devon's kind of gone a bit cool, whereas Jake is mortified when things like Lexi says, "Do you like each other anymore?" And he's now the one worried about whether Devon's still into him. But in the first episode, it was the other way around. And I really like how, even in this busy world and this huge kind of plot, God, so much happened in this episode, but there was time to show how relationships peak and trough and people's waveforms on how they feel about someone. They don't always match, and sometimes they go up and down. And it was only very brief, but I was like, don't Don't leave him, Devon. He's lovely.
Yeah, that is a great attention to the detail in the writing and the characters. It really would feel 2D if we've got a reunion of so many characters, and we've got so many characters ganging up on Chucky, that it would feel flat if all of these characters were just good guys who are on the same team. The show is what it is because each character feels so unique, and they are going on their own journey, and, those paths, they coalesce or they stray away from each other.
And also, I think another important thing in the scene was it was basically confirmed that Good Chucky and Scout Chucky are kind of like a split personality, because he does go, I'm scared, headbutt, oh, I didn't mean to do it. And I think that particular scene, we were talking about how it was deliberately vague, but I think that very much confirmed that there is kind of like almost like a split personality with Good Chucky, and that he wasn't always just pretending. I'm glad as well, because that makes the most sense to me, and also makes it a little bit more grey that they're going to take this person's soul out of, in inverted commas, soul, out of the doll. It does make it a little bit more grey, and I like that. I've just thought of something.
Okay.
If it's a split personality, they took both of those personalities out. One went into Father Bryce and exploded, and the other went into Mixter.
I don't think that's what happened.
That's my theory, and it was Good Chucky that exploded. That's my theory.
Okay, we'll get to it. Okay. We'll be getting to Devon Sawa very soon. But yeah, let's talk about the great character moment of Nadine coming back as an angel.
Oh, don't. I can't even. It was hard enough seeing her. Oh, no. It was so lovely, and she's so fucking great. I think it was, again, left to whether or not it was a drug-induced hallucination or there really are angels in the Chucky universe. And I like that, because I think... What do you think? Do you think it was a hallucination?
I think the major kind of expectation is that it's a hallucination. But I think, yeah, considering what we see of exorcism later, maybe it was. There's a little ambiguity for hope there. It definitely is it's a nice send-off for some of the other characters in the past we've seen who have died horrible deaths, and then that's it. It's nice to have the idea that some of these victims are going on better things.
Yeah.
I also love how obvious the LEDs are just sewn into that costume. I don't think they were trying to hide that. I just love that that's what angels wear.
I think it's more that's what that particular angel wears, because she's Nadine. You might have classier angels and more elaborate angels, but that's what Nadine wanted as an angel.
Hey, it looked fabulous.
Yeah, I think you're right.
She looked great. Yeah,
I think it was a deliberate choice there. And I realised I whinged for a good 3 minutes last time, which I'm not so sure about the shitty fly in the last episode, whether that was deliberate or not. That shitty fly, I was livid.
We're talking about fabulous and camp and all of that. Holy shit, does Don Mancini turn up the camp here?
Yes,
we had been talking, and by we I mean mainly me, but also you were indulging me in my analysis / rants of, I don't know where this character is going. Where the fuck is Father Bryce meant to be going? Is he a bad guy? Is he a good guy? It's so unclear. And I was not expecting the electro music, the techno music of him phoning the Vatican to get permission for an exorcism, which is what people have to do, and then him immediately getting excommunicated or fired for sounding crazy that a doll was possessed.
Funny that.
And so we get to hell with the Vatican, sister, we're going rogue, and then bam, instantly he takes off his shirt and Devon Sawa is ripped.
He is buffer than Buff Chucky is what he is. And Bryce steps the fuck up. The kind of metal version of the Chucky theme as it goes along. Oh, what a scene. What a fucking
We get the
scene.
very Bollywood, him putting on his glasses 3 times, as if that's such a badass moment. And
I wasn't ready for Devon Sawa to be so sexy.
he's hot. He has been on a, like the reconnaissance, or like the Renaissance, the McConaughey. I can't even say it.
I have no idea what you're chatting about.
When Matthew McConaughey had that resurgence a few years back, they called it the reconnaissance, and this is the devonaissance. He has been slowly coming back into films. He was a 90s icon. He went away.
Fucking idiot.
He was a 90s icon. He went away. And then the last few years, he's been doing good films. He's been doing good roles. And like, bam, man, this is just such a great reminder that he is in shape. He is still a great actor, and he is ready to go. And
you're not wrong.
This scene was completely done. I know we've talked about we got to give the director's credit and stuff, but this was completely done. In the Dead Meat interview, he said that they were going to do another scene during the exorcism, I believe, when like all the winds were going and his shirt was going to rip open, it was going to be billowing in the wind. But then they cut that, and Don said to Devon, "One way or another, we're getting you without your shirt on."
Good. They couldn't resist, could they? They couldn't fucking resist. Exorcism for dummies.
That, I'm so glad you mentioned that. I almost missed it, and I'm so glad you mentioned it, because that is not just a brilliant callback. That is a brilliant reason, an excuse of, we were just saying before, is Catholicism real? Is magic real? Is everything about Christianity real? And for whatever happens in this episode, you can kind of blame it on the book. Like, they're doing exorcisms for dummies. Whatever happens, it's because maybe it wasn't on the down low.
And the thing is, I love the reference, because Tiffany botched her way into stealing Jennifer Tilly's body, and they kind of botched their way into sort of getting what they wanted, but in a really bad way. And yeah, perfect fucking reference.
So good. And it's just so funny, the fact that he had this book ready to go. Like, as soon as he needs it, he just pulls it out.
Yeah.
Then we get back to Chucky, from The Exorcist to suddenly Silence of the Lambs, and they can't just have one little reference. They've got to live in that reference and take it up a notch. We have the whole closer bit where he literally quotes, from the movie when Hannibal says closer and Clarice has to stand closer to him. Chucky all tied up in a glass cabinet. And where did he get the mask? Where did they get the Hannibal mask?
Oh, I know. Where did they get the Hannibal mask? Let's say, I don't know. All they wanted to do was a cheap reference, and I get it, and you can criticize it for that, but it works.
It's, Chucky was a fan of the TV show Hannibal. Maybe it's another alternate thing where everyone is a fan of Hannibal in this universe. Everyone has a Hannibal mask ready to go.
Yeah, and I think this scene was really interesting because Glenda's conversation isn't actually with their actual dad. Their actual dad is dead. Even Chucky Prime isn't their actual dad. So I think it's really interesting that they are very right about how their dad and Tiffany are both incredibly selfish, and that when they lay down the smack, we're orphans. But I think that's kind of sad that they never actually get to meet their actual dad. They meet a close approximation, but it's not their dad.
Yeah, we did cover this with the Colonel and Buff Chucky and Good Chucky, that every Chucky now is some kind of reflection of Chucky, of Charles Lee Ray. And yeah, it is a nice parallel because that is kind of the driving conflict, the inner conflict of Glenn and Glenda, that they feel like they've been lied to, that they didn't know what they were, how they came about. But maybe this is a healing for them in a sense that their parents are just as, I won't say weird, but their parents are just as unique and not quite human.
Mm.
And in comparison, they've done pretty well for themselves.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think all the confessions were really, really strong, particularly Andy's, but all of them were. I also think that Glenda's was brutal, really brutal. So sad. Obviously, there was a lull at the end. It was really sad,
Yeah.
and I really, they were all good. Well, it's difficult to highlight one, but I think probably Andy's and Glenda's were great.
Yeah. That is like when Tiffany killed Chucky at the end of season 1. That is a real, the hammer comes down. This is the end of this family.
Oh, yeah.
It's not great for Glenn Glenda because, as we saw in Seed, nobody leaves Chucky. So he will maybe try to kill his kids from now on.
Yeah, I hope not, because I like Glenn and Glenda.
Oh, obviously, I don't hope that they get killed, but it would definitely be more tense for their characters if they had Chucky actively going after them.
So, why do Americans always make New Jersey out to be? I don't get it. I've been to New Jersey, and it's all right.
Oh, you've been?
It's not as cool
okay.
as New York. It's not. Yeah, I have. It's not as cool as New York, but it's all right. You kind of have to go to New Jersey because the New York airport is actually in New Jersey.
Ah, yeah.
It's all right. I don't understand it.
He said he's from Jersey, so maybe there's a difference of visiting and living in Jersey. You could visit New York and have a great time, but a lot of people will say living in New York is hell.
New York was all right when I went to visit.
To visit,
I
yeah.
preferred New Orleans.
That line about going to hell and being from Jersey did raise an interesting point because, one, let's not gloss over the fact that the holy water from the sound effects did seem to be working, which immediately suggests that Chucky is capital E evil, which is a step up from him just being really fucking ruthless. But also, Chucky has been dead proper before. When you look at the movies, there's been intervals when his doll has exploded, and then he was remade later. In those interims, was he like just unconscious in the doll and he was waking up? Was there ever a moment where he did pass on? Or has he been eternally trapped in some form or way inside a doll? Bride of Chucky, they used the spell to bring Chucky back, but was he basically just in a coma within the little doll pieces?
Good point. I don't know. Sorry, I probably could try and give you more insight than that, but I don't know.
It's an interesting point because up until now, we've been considering the fact that Chucky was dead and then he came back. But now we're bringing ideas of Catholicism. There's a difference between being dead and being in hell.
Yeah, that's true. Huh.
Because like Nadine, we're questioning now, is everyone else just dead? Or are they in heaven?
Are they in heaven? I mean, only Jake gets to do that, but as we've established, he hasn't yet. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Dirty bumming joke.
Well, at the very least, Good Chucky does ask, he was baptized, can he at least go to purgatory?
Yeah, that just... Wow.
Yeah, so the exorcism has begun. The exorcism will take up the majority of this episode, but big stuff happens other places. We're going to go back to Tiffany and Jennifer Tilly. And Tiffany is explaining or going on about how good it was to be a doll. And I did note in the first scene when she said that she has to go back into a doll, the fact that she now wants to go back into a doll, something is going to go wrong.
Yeah.
Because she can't just get what she wants. And I think last week I said something to the effect, or a couple of weeks ago, I said something to the effect of, I really wonder if they'll let Jennifer Tilly just walk away. Like, she gets her own body, and then she's just herself again.
No.
No! She runs away into the street and just gets demolished by a Mack truck.
Oh, I'm very sad. We had one episode where Jennifer Tilly was alive again, and now she joins Britney Spears, Meg Tilly, Joey Pantaleone, and Redman as a confirmed dead celebrity in the fucking world of Chucky.
And that's confirmed to us. No one else in the world will know that Jennifer Tilly is now dead.
No, she's not dead. Yeah, but she is dead. But we already knew that she was dead, and then it was like, oh no, she's not dead.
She's not dead.
She's dead again. So many dead celebrities.
I like to think that she at least showed Tiffany that there were some downsides to being a doll.
Jennifer Tilly died. I was really sad.
Then again, I guess Mack trucks do that to everyone, doll or human.
Yeah.
So she should not have just ran across the street. That's on her.
No. Oh. It's not on her. She was trying to escape. It's not Jennifer Tilly's fault that she's dead. Right, if you took this conversation out of context, we would sound like actual crazy people because real Jennifer Tilly is alive. But Chucky universe Jennifer Tilly, who was in a doll, is dead. What the fuck do we watch, Dev?
Yeah, it was madness. It was definitely a death that I was not expecting. I'm sure you were not expecting it.
I think I thought Jennifer Tilly was going to be dead by the end of this. But not in this way. It's so cruel. It is so cruel.
It's so cruel and so funny. It's just such a great idea of... It makes sense. With everybody at the church by the end of it, there are so many characters, and some of them have to go. And Don has done a wonderful job. The writers have done a wonderful job of making all of these characters feel like fleshed out, well-rounded people. But, yeah, some of them do have to die in glorious, ridiculous ways.
Yeah, and I think there's an element of that's why Nadine had to die, because there were too many strong characters, there was too much going on. And your average slasher film, none of these characters would have had anything like the depth because it was a film and you get 90 minutes, whereas these characters have been fleshed out and we've made to really, really care about them much more than you would for your average slasher character that isn't the final girl or the main 2 or 3 characters. And where that comes with an advantage of you are more invested, it is more interesting, the characterization's great, you then do have the problem of having too much to do. And as much as I hate it, I think Nadine and Jennifer did have to die. And I just don't have to like
it. Well, don't you worry, because we are rip-roaring ahead in this episode. And there's more death to come.
All right.
Happy episode.
Not happy. What's wrong with you?
We'll get to the happiness. All right.
You are a terrible human being. I would like to apologise to the Chucky Vision fans on behalf of Devon Elson for his utter callousness in describing this episode as happy.
Sorry, I enjoy the horror in this horror show.
Disclaimer. You're a terrible person. That's why I like you.
Back to the exorcism, and since we already mentioned the movie, and since Chucky has to be so self-referential, they pretty much mention The Exorcist by name. Everyone has seen that movie.
Oh yeah, your mother sucks cocks in hell. The fact they're so cheeky.
But yours actually does.
So cheeky.
And then, just when you think they've got it out of their system, they've made the Exorcist reference, good on them. Here's another one. We've got to do the pea soup bit.
Oh, it was rank. Absolutely rank.
Just,
I mean, obviously, Good Chucky's puked a lot already, but enough.
And it's different than the other vomit they've done. This very much is, and I wouldn't doubt that they tried to get the same recipe as they did in The Exorcist, because it looks just like the green pea soup they did in The Exorcist. Again, this is Devon Asawa's episode, and they give him so much grief. Him just getting vomited on.
Yeah, it's grim. And I love how for the rest of the episode, both him and Sister Catherine have just got a little bit of green fucking puke on them. And it's just like, this is rank. Use your fucking sleeve or something.
The way he gives his glasses to Sister Catherine to clean. And then when he gets them back, they're still so dirty and he's just trying to wipe them with his hands.
It's just such a nice touch, isn't it? But what I think is really interesting about Chucky's taunts in this scene, other than obviously your mother sucks cocks in hell, they're all real. They're all true.
Yeah.
It's a nasty take on it, but everything is true. And that's just so deliciously nasty.
Now who's the sick one enjoying it?
I didn't say I wasn't enjoying it. I just said it wasn't a happy episode.
Yeah, that's why Chucky, as Chucky himself says in this episode, rubbing it in is the best part. And it is for him, because he has such a laundry list of kills and murders and deaths that he can reminisce on all of this, and he has hurt everyone.
Yeah, and even the Chucky Prime moment where Chucky started talking to Chucky, that was great.
Yeah,
and also the name Chucky Prime confirmed.
I love, yeah, very very good stuff there. Very nice trick with Chucky there, doll Chucky, to bite Father Bryce's lip to get some blood so that Nika Chucky could come out. Very smart. But then, unfortunately, as we've seen with some of the other Chuckies in this season, that Chucky will always inevitably fuck himself over. Because there's only room in that doll for one person, and Nika Chucky wants to be the last Chucky.
Prime Chucky.
So now the exorcism is really kicking off, because we had the kind of false finish where Chucky was just playing possum. Now real Catholic magic is happening. New variant, flying Chucky.
Yeah, the direction here was really, really cool. I really liked the focus on Chucky in the centre with everyone else. You could tell who they were, but they were blurred.
Yeah.
And I really, really liked that. It really kind of brought you into it.
Even just the wide shot of him just paused in the air with everyone staring up at him. Very great shot.
And then, I don't know about you, but the blue eyes thing with Bryce,
yeah,
I was like, shit, Bryce Chucky, there's a new Chucky. Fuck, they didn't see that coming. Oh, shit.
Just like how we had Bald Chucky, then Colonel Bald Chucky, we had Buff Chucky, then Buff Jesus Chucky, we have Father Bryce Chucky, and then Explosive Father Bryce Chucky.
And, they egged it. The way they egged the explosion again and again and again. Oh, fuck. And then his head at the end. Grim. Brilliant practical effects. Just my cup of tea. But they really did egg it. Oh, how they egged it.
It was amazing. And yeah, from what they say in the interview, it was a practical effect, a practical explosion. So they caught it with every camera and showed it with every camera because it was amazing.
I think it deserved it. I mean, it probably cost a generous portion of their budget. So why the hell not? Get that in. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Have you ever seen Scanners?
Yes, yeah.
It feels like almost an homage to Scanners, but a bit more subtle than obviously all the other references. But the fact that the head stayed intact, but the rest of the entire body blew up, I don't know whether it's deliberate, but it did remind me of Scanners, and Scanners is a fucking great film. All the sequels are shite, but Scanners is a great film.
No, we stan Scanner Cop 2.
Well, okay, Scanner Cops. The Scanner Cop films are at least vaguely entertaining, but they don't have the class of Scanners. And, you know, you could say the same about anything after Hellraiser 2. They were wickedly entertaining, but they don't have the class of Hellraiser.
Absolutely not to instigate any more podcasts, but I do believe there is a Scanners TV show in the works.
What? Oh, don't.
I forget who's doing it, but apparently it's in the works, yeah.
Oh, I love that. We've already discussed whether we're going to do Hellraiser. We've already discussed whether we're going to do Friday the 13th. And I would, if I had infinite money and infinite time, you and I would just sit and talk about horror all day. And when we weren't doing that, we'd be watching horror so that we could talk about horror. I haven't got time for another podcast, Dev.
Yeah, we definitely don't, because I think we've already gone over our usual time. Not that we have a time limit, but we've definitely spent longer talking about this episode because there's so much in it. We don't have time to talk about other TV shows from other franchises.
It's me editing this week as well, and I'm not as savage on the edits as you.
And I still have stuff to talk about. Father Bryce Chucky. There's still
so much.
There's still more to it because the explosion was fantastic. One, Devon Sawa's acting in the moment before, fantastic. We do get a moment of Father Bryce Chucky, and he nails it in the two lines he gets, and not just the lines, which sound so good, but also the conflict of him talking to himself, kind of like how Nika has. It's just a really great moment of like the struggle.
I think he definitely did his homework and has basically rewatched the show and seen what Fiona Dourif did.
Yeah.
He clearly loves the show and loves the franchise and wanted to do a good job here, and Bayeki did.
Yeah, in the interview he says it was very daunting to do in front of Fiona because he knows how good she is with it, and there's not many other people in the show that have done Chucky impressions, so he said it was quite daunting. But then Zachary Arthur says, while on set, he said that Devon just blew everyone away. Like he was that good. Well, I mean, obviously he was that good in person.
Did you mean that pun? Blew everyone away? You are heartless. You are awful. I am disgusted with you. Shall we talk about Father Bryce being gay?
To follow up such a crazy moment with such an emotional moment, Chucky has been doing well with some awards. I don't know about Emmys, but they've been doing well with other prestigious TV awards. Give Devon Sawa an award for just the contrast of these two moments. How well he deals with both.
So, of all the deaths across who could possibly die in the Chucky TV series, there are a number that I was like, yeah, if they go, you'll go and cry. You go and cry lots. Father Bryce was not the one that I predicted. And the shock of the explosion, followed by the revelation that all his life he'd hidden that he was gay and become a priest because of it. Holy shit. Pun intended. I spent a lot of time closeted, and it's not fun. And every day you stay in the closet, you hurt yourself a little bit more. And to think that this man spent his entire life in the closet and then sacrificed himself for everybody, including 2 young gay people, I just went, wow. Brilliant, fucking brilliant writing. And the whole ambiguity of Bryce throughout the entire season suddenly makes perfect sense because he's a closeted man. Fuck.
I think I said something to the degree of that I wasn't sure about what his story arc was going to be, but once the season was ended, we'll probably look back and go, oh, that makes sense. And it does. It does. He literally says it in this scene that he punishes other people too harshly because he punishes himself too harshly.
Yeah.
And not just Father Bryce here, but Sister Catherine was also amazing.
Yeah, she was. She was really lovely. Yeah. A subtle performance. And then, she was like, let's not make it daft, blah, blah, blah. And then the difference in the start to the end. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Just fuck. What? So you get a lot of people who say you don't have to be gay to write good queer fiction or good queer characters. But shit in hell, it fucking helps because Don Mancini just absolutely bang on got this. Fuck.
Very, very good.
Fucking perfect.
And then the closer on all of this, that little cloth they put over his head.
Oh, man. There was some weird dignity in it as well, though, wasn't there?
A weird dignity in his screaming head.
Yeah, but at least they covered it up rather than just leaving it.
They did. And they were all
And then
affected.
Chucky calls the two boys virgins.
Well, we can't gloss over the whole Nika resolution. Nika finally gets Chucky out of her body and back into the doll.
True.
Which I, for one, thought for a moment, I was like, is this a good idea that Nika is the one saying this incantation? But thankfully, it still worked out.
Yeah, I haven't watched Child's Play for a few months. Or Bride of Chucky for a few months, actually. Have they changed the ritual slightly?
I think what she was saying were different words.
Yeah, I did too. I didn't check it. We full disclosure, we literally watched the episode once and then record a quick as we possibly can, which is why we do want to do like a retrospective where we've got a bit more time to research and rewatch everything and stuff. So we're going to hope to aim to do that kind of mid-December, aren't we? But all these single episodes of Chucky Vision, we just get to watch it once and record it, on the seat of our pants. And I've realised I've told everyone this already because I whinged about the lack of screeners for the first 2 or 3 episodes of this. So move on.
But great moment for Nika to finally be free of this burden.
Yeah.
Then, Chucky's back in his doll. Everything's great. Mixter gets what she wants. But of course, who in their right mind thought that Andy was just going to let this happen? Andy immediately just grabs Chucky, gives it to Jake, and then Jake starts drowning Chucky in holy water, which also burns him.
It burns, but it doesn't burn to the point where his face goes mingy, though.
No, it's like a soul burning, baby.
Yeah, I think that's what it implies, that it's kind of almost a burn of belief rather than a physical burn.
Yeah.
So it hurts him, but it doesn't actually damage him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the holy water was the same when he was flicking it during the ritual.
But then there's one key player, or I guess 2 key players, missing from this whole exorcism. And we did skip over the very small scene of Lexi waking up from her drug hangover. And there is a Sister Ruth coming to what we think admonish her for the drugs. But then, I forget exactly what she says, but it's something sinister. And that comes into play at the end, because Sister Ruth has thrown off her habit, and she has a red hair, a flowing, and a golden gun out of nowhere. A golden gun she has to Lexi's head.
It's a good gun.
Very stylish.
Yeah. But I think what's really good about this is Ruth started as an ambiguous character. What is she going to be? But very quickly she became a bit of a chump and a bit of a figure of fun. And then this entrance, she is suddenly a player and not the chump we thought she was. And I like that. I like how a lot of the characters are flipped in this episode. We see what happens about Bryce. We see who Ruth has become. And I think a few episodes ago, you mentioned you weren't happy with how much character developed there hadn't been for these characters. But they fucking caught up in this episode.
Yeah. Well, Sister Ruth had been going on the whole weird obsession with Jesus Chucky. She was definitely going on an interesting journey, and it reminded me when we first got introduced to her. She could have been. I'm thinking now of Miss Kettlewell from Child's Play 2. She could have just been the stern nun, like the nun who tells
Yes.
the nun that tells people off and is mean and then dies. But this is such a weird and intriguing storyline for her.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting you've brought up Kettlewell, because Kettlewell was as developed as she could be in a 90-minute film, whereas Ruth, they've got a bit more time. And we talked about this, how even though that's happened, some of these characters have to die. And well, Glenda's knife skills and the death of Ruth was another spectacular fucking thing. And I skipped back watching this to see if there was any kind of precursor or like little idea of whether or not you could predict it. And there was a scene where it focused on Andy and Kyle looking on in horror, but you saw Glenda pull their coat back and reach in their back pocket for something. And then suddenly they had the knife and threw it. It was really, really subtly done. But if you look closely, and I did look a second time, I didn't see it the first time, they pull the knife, and they were obviously always carrying this knife. Fucking hell. And then the eye on the end of the knife, that was just mucky. Mucky.
A little late, as Chucky was getting away at that time, but the style points will let him off. Because that was an incredible knife to the eye, and then eye on the knife.
And what I really like is that it was Chucky's knife.
Yes.
If you looked.
Yeah.
The one that he mentioned in the scene with them earlier about go and get my knife for me. And they did go and get the knife, but they didn't get it for him.
It all ties together. Such good writing. Well, Glenda is not the only one with fantastic aim. Andy, as we've seen in some of the earlier films, I think like Curse and Cult, he became kind of a gun nut, and he knows how to use his gun well, because bam, Chucky goes down.
But you've got to remember, this is your rifle. This is for shooting, this is for fun. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. But no, he is very good with a shot, and it does go back to Child's Play 3 and the fact that he's stayed consistently as a gunsmith since. And a lot of the time, everyone in films are great with guns, regardless of their background. At least Andy's background, there's a lot of fucking guns in it.
Yeah, it makes sense that he gets this great shot off.
Mm.
And what a shot it is, because it blows Chucky's mouth clean off. So, very gory.
So this scene made me think of a couple of references to the films. There was the very, very nasty jaw death in Curse of Chucky, which it kind of looked very similar to. But as he was shooting him, I was like, shoot him in the fucking heart. Shoot him in the fucking heart. Because that's what they were told in Child's Play 1 by John Bishop.
Yeah, you gotta shoot him in the heart.
And he didn't shoot him in the heart, but it didn't matter, they burnt him anyway.
Reminded me of Platoon, the way with his arms up in the air, getting rid of the bullets.
I think it was probably supposed to remind you of Platoon.
Again, this is one of those little moments where I put in my notes. I think I called this, but then, it happens in the same episode, so what's the point of calling it if it happens 2 minutes later? But I did call the reason he gets shot in the mouth so specifically is because of the switch. So the person in Chucky at that time couldn't say anything.
Yes. So you think instead of good Chucky ending up in Devon Sour and the other personality Chucky, maybe Scout Chucky, let's call him, ended up in Mixter, you think they did the ritual as they were running?
Well, yeah, we'll talk about hair. I don't believe there is a literal split. I think the conditioning they did on him to make him good Chucky, I think that was just wearing off.
Right. Okay.
And he was just becoming
Interesting.
classic Chucky again. Because if you think of it, when you look at that scene, the reason Bryce explodes, if there is a reason, the reason he explodes is because he's fighting Chucky. He wouldn't fight Chucky if that was good Chucky.
True.
You're right. You're right about when this switch happened. Obviously, it did at some point because we get the reveal. I think it may have happened at some point, may have happened at some point earlier. Maybe that's the reason why we have that moment of Ruth holding everyone up. That gives Chucky a good 20, 30 seconds to get the switch done.
And that's all you need.
Yeah, because I believe the reason he gets shot in the mouth is because it's quite a, not sad, but pathetic death for this Chucky. Him just lying on the floor and just gurgling. You know, I think the real Chucky would put his fingers up and just be like, fuck you. This felt like someone else dying. Someone like Dr. Mixter dying that hasn't felt death before.
So Mixter's dead. Or do you think she's Mixter Chucky, like Nika Chucky was Nika Chucky? Or do you think that there is no Mixter left and it's just Chucky in Mixter?
We'll see. We'll see. I think it wouldn't be quite like Nika Chucky because I think someone like Dr. Mixter would just happily give herself over in order for Chucky to live.
Fascinating.
But you're right. It could go both ways. It could be Chucky did die and then Chucky copied himself into Mixter, or it could be they swapped. We'll have to know. Well, we've got one episode left, so we'll find out.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Fucking hell.
But God, we're not even done yet.
No, we're not.
We have some nice moments here of characters believing that everything is done, believing that Chucky is dead, and the Chucky franchise is over because now everyone's really happy and trying to think of getting on with their lives. We see Kyle and Andy talk about the kids. We get that great little line of adolescence is a real horror show, even without the killer dolls.
Yeah, that is a great line, and it's true.
And we get just a really nice moment of Kyle and Andy here. The visual callback, I like that it's not just a mention, we see the end of Child's Play 2, which is just a really great callback.
I've just written, wow, emotional as fuck to cover this scene because it is. And it does feel like we may not see these two characters again and that they have got their happy ending and they may not find out that Chucky is still alive. And I'd be happy with that.
It definitely feels like that. I definitely feel like the parallel to Child's Play 2 feels like that because as we saw the first time, them saying, what do we do now? Well, whatever. And obviously, we saw in Child's Play 3, Kyle disappears, and Andy is immediately being chased by Chucky again. I think it would be a nice contrast to have them finally walk away. But then, you know, all of these characters at one point or another have tried to walk away from Chucky, and he always finds them, so we'll see.
Yeah. And then the Glenda and Nika thing, I really, really liked.
Yeah.
Because it was just two desperate characters who they are good people, but they've done bad things. And that's quite a pairing. And I think it sounded really well that they're like, we're getting on, we respect each other. Oh shit, there's this thing that we can't agree on. And I think Nika's choice is completely understandable, despite the fact she's just bonded with Glenda.
Yeah, it's a great moment for her character. It's great that we got to see Nika and Andy together because now we're seeing kind of a difference. Andy feels like he has maybe done his mission and he is leaving. He never really interacted with Tiffany much. So, obviously, to a degree, I don't know how much Andy knows Tiffany is out there. I mean, he'd probably see the news and everything, but we saw Andy's mission wasn't about Tiffany. It was all about Chucky. It was just Chucky. With Nika, though, a lot of her pain comes from Tiffany.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
But yeah, that's the difference between Nika and Andy. Andy's story, in effect, is over, but Nika's isn't because her tormentor is standing right in front of her.
And I knew it. I knew when it happened, I was like, Glenn's going to throw themselves in front of their mum. And because Glenda's further along down the line of hating their parents. And I was like, no, not Glenn. And let's be blunt, they're going to be in that doll.
Oh, that's probably going to happen, isn't it? Oh, I didn't even consider that.
Really? You didn't consider that? They're going to be in the fucking doll? Of course they are.
I didn't consider that. I did not consider that. That is why I've let everyone down. My one prediction I did not make. And it's now, looking at it, quite an obvious one.
Yep, they've had the... Let's go with antagonist Car. Has had the doll in it for 4 episodes. They are definitely going in the doll.
It's a shame. We've still got one Lachlan Watson, but it's a shame to lose one.
I know. Do you think Lachlan Watson will voice? Or do you think they'll get Billy Boyd back? That would be such a fucking flex if they could get Billy Boyd back to be Glenn, but keep Lachlan Watson as Glenda. But I think Lachlan Watson would be fine playing Glenn in the doll as well. I don't think they need it. It would just be fucking funny if they did.
It would be quite weird if they got Billy Boyd back, because they never really explained why they sound so different, but it would definitely be quite jarring if the character we knew as Glenn, they suddenly sounded so different. It would feel like a different character.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think it would almost be disrespectful, particularly how well they've done in the role, to not have Lachlan Watson play the character now.
But yeah, I'm sure that's something they probably considered. And if you're talking about acting, let's, in this scene, let's not gloss over Fiona Dorff. Like, my God, like the way this scene ends with just her face. Like, we were just saying how her torment wasn't over because of Tiffany, and everybody else gets a happy ending except for Nika. Everybody else gets to finally kill Chucky and walk away and get on with their lives. And then Nika shoots a kid.
I wonder whether there's something in the brutal, consistent, constant torture of Nika. Who hurt Don Mancini, and were they called Nika?
It's not 100% bad. She at least knows how to use those arms. She's got some function back.
You are a ridiculous human.
Considering the state she was left at with season 1, she's at least got arms back. There's nothing stopping her from getting robot legs now.
You and your fucking robot shit.
Just want, like, robot Nika.
But this really, really felt like a season finale. I would have been happy with the 7-episode season and this being it, and waiting for series 3 to come along. I think this was an incredible finale that just continued the theme of breakneck pace, gave us a lot of conclusions, gave us a classic slasher ending. They're gonna be back. But it was, I have no clue what they're gonna do with the Christmas special.
Yeah. We said this last week when we talked about episode 6 and how episode 6 ends, and we were like, how is episode 7 going to play out? Because surely it's got to be all build up for episode 8. And then we watched the next Wednesday teaser, and we're like, oh, shit. A lot of stuff happens. A lot of stuff did happen.
I haven't watched the teaser for the Christmas one, have you?
It is very, very brief.
Shall we do what we did last week, and you can send it my way and I'll do it now?
I can send it you. It is not as crazy as last week's.
I should know by now to watch it. But I'm not going to do it this season, am I? Unless there's a next season on Chucky. They've already started recording. We're definitely having season 3. So do I ever want them to announce season 3? Right, so what I'm going to do is, so that people can get my live reaction, I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, click. So if you want to watch along with me...
All 14 seconds.
All right. 3, 2, 1, click. Oh, they're in bed together. Oh dear. Of course, he's got a chainsaw.
Of course, he's coming down the chimney in a Santa hat with a chainsaw.
Fuck me. Merry fucking Christmas. Our network has a Christmas episode jingle for the start.
We
You know
can
how
use
we
that
have different
again.
people go. Yeah, we have like people say, we made this, and so I'm going to use the Christmas one, even though it's not December.
I believe I used that for our Seed of Chucky episode because there's a very brief moment of Christmas in that.
Fuck's sake.
Ho, 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 we made this.
Oh, it's going to be brilliant. Chucky with a chainsaw coming down the chimney. Good. I'm in. I fancy it. I can't wait. But it is early for a Christmas episode. It's going to be the 24th of November. And I know a lot of people put their Christmas lights up by then, but telly doesn't tend to do Christmassy shit until the start of December. It's not even Advent.
Yeah. Well,
I don't care, obviously.
Devon Sauer said that Don has always wanted to do this, whatever it is. And this is his excuse. He doesn't have the same leeway that, say, James Gunn does with his Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. He doesn't have Sci-Fi's money to do season 2 and then do a Christmas special. So if he wants to do a Christmas special, he's going to put it in season 2.
He's fucking shoehorned it in, hasn't he? Brilliant. And everything I learn about Don Mancini makes me like him more and more and more. And yeah, I think it's going to be lots and lots of festive fun. I might even wear my Santa hat, even though we don't see each other when we're recording. Fucking hell.
Also, great stuff. The episode is called Chucky, actually.
Of course, because Love Actually is a Christmas. Fucking hell.
Let's round up this episode because we've rounded up another episode of Chucky. This is slightly longer than our usual episodes, but as we said, plenty to talk about.
This is the beauty of the podcast medium. We can do what the fuck we like. We want a 50-minute episode, good. We want a 90-minute episode, like this one's probably going to be. That's also okay. We want to do like little tiny minisodes. We can, because we ain't controlled by the man, Dev. We also don't make any money.
And like the other holiday episodes in Chucky, if this Christmas episode is like either of the Halloween episodes, then probably 5 minutes is going to be spent on Christmas, and then the rest of it will be who knows what.
True. I mean, this entire season has been who knows what, really, hasn't it?
That's the beauty of Chucky, the whole franchise.
Yep, and we love it.
But you, the audience, will know what's happening next. It's me and Mark covering the season finale. Then we'll be doing the roundup, the huge, colossal discussion of all things Chucky, like we did last season.
That was a fucking monster last year. I think, didn't it get to 2.5 hours?
I have it in my head that we recorded for 4 hours. I don't know how that got chopped down so much. I guess a lot of it was just us taking breaks and reading, probably. But yeah, still,
I would have had at least 4 weeks if we were recording for 4 hours.
But yeah, 2.5 hours was a lot, and we are already. We won't say any of it now, but we are already compiling ideas and discussions to talk about with Chucky season 2. So we'll have that maybe the week after the finale, and then also in December at some point. We haven't put a date on it, but at some point we'll be doing the Christmas special, the CHUCKYVISION Christmas special, which will be Christmas at Rosemont, the movie with Brad Dourif.
I think we chucked that out like the week before Christmas Day, so maybe the Wednesday before Christmas Day we'll chuck that one out. But we've also started planning what we're going to be covering for our in-between season stuff. We're definitely going to do Heartstopper because I really, really, really want to, and I don't care if no one listens to it. But we want to do some other stuff as well. But if you've got ideas of Chucky-linked stuff that you would like us to cover between season 2 and season 3, if it happens, even if it doesn't happen, we'll carry on, I think. So if you've got any ideas for Chucky-related shit that you want us to look at, definitely wing us a tweet at CHUCKYVISION.
Great segue into the plugs. That is also a great call out. We I only really did a poll for like the last special last time. A lot of our specials we were pretty excited about doing specials of whatever, so we kind of chose those ourselves, and we have a list of other things to do. But yes, if you have something really interesting that is Chucky related or very Chucky adjacent, then yes.
It doesn't have to be very Chucky adjacent. I think Christmas at Rosemont's a bit tenuous.
I meant very loosely Chucky adjacent. But yeah, send us those tweets.
Puppet Master was a stretch as well.
Send us those tweets at CHUCKYVISION. And if you want to send anything to either of us individually, or you want to see what we are doing on Twitter, then I am at Absolute Travis T. And Mark, you are
at Mark Adams HC.
And finally, without further ado, this has been another episode of CHUCKYVISION. Wanna play?
CHUCKYVISION is a podcast brought to you by the We Made This Network. Follow us on Twitter at CHUCKYVISION. Follow the network on Twitter at WMT_network. Our website is WeMadeThisNetwork.com. The logo was designed by Dev, and the theme tune composed by Dark Fantasy Studios. Wanna play?
3 rings for the elven kings under the sky.
7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone.
9 for mortal men doomed to die.
1 for the Dark Lord on his dark throne.
In the land of Mordor, where the shadows lie. Welcome to One Rules Them All, a Lord of the Rings podcast on the We Made This podcast network. Myself, Luke Winch, and my co-host Baz Greenland will be exploring the new Amazon Prime series, The Rings of Power. Week by week, we shall be analysing each episode with a foray of guests. We have also been revisiting the Peter Jackson films and looking at them from a new perspective. So join us every week as we discuss the world of Tolkien and the Rings of Power.
1 podcast to rule them all.
1 podcast to find them.
1 podcast to bring them all.
And on the We Made This network, bind them.